G'day Year 12 and welcome to another YouTube lesson. Today we're going to be taking a look at quality management. That's the syllabus dot point. It includes three parts to it. QC, quality control, QA, quality assurance, and QI, quality improvement. And that notion of ongoing quality improvement. Now that quality management syllabus dot point is part of operations and also the ongoing theme of strategies. So I want you to be thinking about, as always, with influences or processes, or in this case strategies, thinking about what is quality control, what's quality assurance, etc. But also, how is this damn thing a strategy? You need to be able to explain that to me, how it can be useful as a strategy. Now, in terms of strategy, remember from previous lessons, an operations strategy is something the operations business function can use to improve the operating process or the operating processes, i.e. make the product at a reduced price, reduce lead times, increase that dependability, improve the amount of customization, and so on. And we measure that against those performance objectives. Quality management. Quality management therefore involves all activities to ensure that the outputs of the business are durable, reliable, consistent, and meet what the quality standards state in the operation plans. Effective, good quality management includes quality control, quality assurance, and this notion of ongoing quality improvement. So again, you need to be asking yourself for this little tutorial clip, what's QC? What's QA? What are we talking about by quality improvement? And how can it be used? My voice breaking there. I'm out of teenage years. How can it be used as a strategy? Quality control. Now I've got a whole bunch of different ways to be able to differentiate distinguish between quality control and quality assurance. Firstly, a definition of quality control. It involves the use of inspections at various points in the production process to check problems and defects. All right, so again, that's a good quality textbook definition. You're inspecting at various points during that production process to check for problems and defects. All right. Now the three time periods for quality control where this checking occurs is at the start, checking those raw materials before the process begins. This is called feed forward controls. So when you're discussing quality control, you need to talk about this feed forward aspect. That you check, you're making gelato, you check the raw ingredients, the chocolates if there's those there, the sugars, etc., etc. You're checking those products before you even start the process, known as feed forward controls. Also, you will check during. These are called concurrent controls. And you'll also inspect and check after, known as feedback controls. Okay? Understand that it is product-focused quality control. Now, some examples for quality control, and we'll look at the definition for quality assurance, some examples for quality assurance in a few minutes. Although it'll feel like hours, the way I'm banging on. Probably will be hours. Examples of quality control include inspections, such as visual inspections, taste testing, even, to smell. Sometimes you can smell if things are off, if it's cooked products. Also, we were saying testing, i.e. a mechanic fixing the brakes. Fixing the brakes. We'll test the brakes before the car is given back to the customer. Crash testing and things like that, they're done as well. So inspections and the actual testing. And I've had my car fixed before, and they do. They test the lights to make sure they're all working, handbrakes working, brakes are working, and so on. Now, in terms of quality control, who has the responsibility? For QC, which is very different to quality assurance, usually a specific team in bigger organizations They run checks of the product or service. They're known as the quality team or the quality control team. Or basically that's their role, that's their job. You'll see later with quality assurance, it's a whole business approach. Now the focus for QC, the focus is about checking the actual product. So you're checking the product, not the processes. You're checking that product, not the processes. That focus is different with quality assurance. It's more about processes, not product. Because kids are often like, sir, I don't get it. What the hell is the difference between quality control and quality assurance? The biggest thing really is QC is about the product, quality assurance is about the processes in place. Now, another major difference between the two as well, because they're both needed alongside with quality improvements to have total quality management. Quality control is reactive. What's reactive? Whereas quality assurance is proactive. Reactive is when something happens to you, like you might be in a stressful situation, might be, two blokes aren't really friends, they've had too much to drink, they're in a pub, they're a bit cranky or whatever. Anyhow, one dude, could be women, whatever, pushes another person and the other person reacts to that. They throw a punch and so on. That's reactive. Proactive is to try and stop these things from happening, to be able to say, well, listen, this is getting a bit aggressive. I'm going to go elsewhere. You might bump somebody instead of firing up, say, that's fine, but sorry, mate, I'll go get you the next drink, whatever. It's about not reacting to things, thinking about things ahead of time. So quality control, reactive, waiting for issues to occur and then addressing them. Proactive is fixing issues by looking at processes before they actually occur. Try and hopefully have no issues or errors, but knowing that they probably will. And this improvement is about continually trying to address these processes. So, quality control is reactive. It's about checking the product against a predetermined benchmark and then eliminating default products if they occur. Hence, good product, an error, we're reactive, we chuck it. That's not how quality assurance works. Quality control teams and quality assurance, they can work together. And often business will have both of these. And in fact, quality control, they will give their input and their data to quality assurance. They'll inform quality assurance team if there's an ongoing issue with the product. And then the quality assurance team can look into their processes and see what needs to change with the processes so that it doesn't occur in the future. All right, on the flip side to quality control, there is quality assurance, correct. Definition of quality assurance. It involves the use of a system to ensure that set standards are achieved in production. It is process focused, not product focused. Now, like I went through some examples with quality control, some examples with quality assurance. The first biggest one with quality assurance is having process standards, making sure the business has met all the process standards needed, such as, one of them is the International Standard Organizations, and you will have seen in your textbook, ISO standing for International Standard Organizations, ISO 9001, 9002, or 9003. To have quality assurance, you need to have proper processes in place so that you're audited and you are given the tick of approval. You have been, your processes meet these standards. So 9001, ISO 9001, what's that look at? It indicates that the business has quality assurance in product design, development, manufacture, installation and servicing. If you are accredited with being an ISO 9001 compliant, then you meet that quality assurance process. ISO 9002 indicates quality assurance in manufacturing. So if you're not a manufacturing business, you may not need ISO 9002. Like I wouldn't need it if I owned a tuition business, because I don't manufacture things. That'd be weird. ISO 9003 covers service-based industries. So whereas a manufacturing business would need to be certified, compliant with ISO 9002, they wouldn't need ISO 9003. My tuition business, if I had one, would. Okay, another process standard is to comply with Standards Australia. There's another one, AS, which is AS and NZS for Australian New Zealand standards, comply with those. Now, a well-known standard that people will try and meet in the food industry is HACCP. Again, HACCP. If you are able to be certified in this, again, it demonstrates that you are meeting your quality assurance needs. It stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points. Again, HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, and outlines 7. I can count to 7. 7 principles in food safety. HACCP, probably butchering the pronunciation, whatevs, can be applied to all the processes throughout each and every stage of the food supply chain. Okay, this includes production, preparation, packaging, and distribution. All right, another way to be able to demonstrate quality assurance is having the appropriate process documentation. None of this stuff is needed for quality control. An example, a head teacher signing off that they have read the class teacher's reports. So classroom teachers, they write your reports and so on. Have a think about what your teachers are going to say about you. I'm thinking about a few students in particular. Some will be nice, some are going to be pretty ruthless. So they'll type up your reports, your English teacher, your science teacher, maths, business, and so on. Okay, and then they'll have to tick off the classroom teacher that they've written your report. We'll use central and that happens, and then the head teacher of the faculty, they will sign off that they have read and agree with what has been written in those reports and they're appropriate. That process that's occurring, okay, it's called process documentation. That's seen with quality assurance. All right. Having process checklists is another thing that we tend to see with quality assurance. Now, if you're just doing a short answer, you probably don't need all these. You just need to talk about the fact that they meet the standard organizations, that ISO 9001. If you're writing an essay, you need detail, depth. So you have process documentation. I explained what it was. You have process checklists. I'm about to explain that. That's not part of quality control. It's part of quality assurance. With process checklists, you have lists of things that must be done, i.e. in a restaurant, washing hands. Check, tick if you've done that. Wearing hairnets, tick, that's done. Checking refrigerator temperatures, tick. All right, teachers having to create a scope and sequence. All right, those type of things, tick, we do those. We do these with our registration. Now, another aspect of quality assurance is conducting audits of processes, both internal and external. Involves checking the quality process and the quality processes of the business. You audit yourself and check that things are done properly, and you go, oh, that can be done better. I've scanned and learned elsewhere, and I think how that is made, the temperatures in which we refrigerate our gelato, or whatever it may well be, okay, can be done differently, can be done better, so that products, we're being proactive and won't be damaged as much. But also to get that ISO certification, you'll need external audits coming in too and checking your processes. Now, training of standards and processes as well, making sure that staff are trained in your processes, your procedures. That's all part of quality assurance. I talked about responsibility with quality control. Now, responsibility with quality assurance. It's the responsibility of not the quality control team only, as is in with QC. With QA, it's every employee's responsibility to try and refine these systems. The focus for quality assurance, that's test you. Is it on the process or the product for quality assurance? It's on the process, correct. Again, it's proactive for quality assurance, trying to fix these processes up before any products are damaged, knowing that they will need to be ongoing, always processes tinkered with, whereas it's reactive with quality control. Now, as above, how is this QA, QC a relevant strategy? Because you've defined it. How is it a strategy? Well, less damage, better quality, better reputation, improve things for the business. You're going to meet that quality performance objective. You might improve the speed performance objective because you're not having to remake some things. Cost might be reduced because you're not having to remake things as well. So you're meeting these performance objectives. Almost there. Quality improvement, or improvement, is the last one of the syllabus dot points today. Quality improvement is about identifying where there are issues around quality and continually seeking to improve not just operations, but the whole business. There is a way of doing this. It's called TQM, Total Quality Management. Now, when we're talking about improvement, we have this notion of continuous improvement. It's the belief that over time, processes will be made more efficient and effective. Improvement may be a monumental breakthrough achieved through innovation all at once, or it may be small and more likely to be small, incremental improvements and gradual over time, knowing that you will never get it 100% perfect, but you're aiming for that perfection and trying to always have as little to none warranty claims as possible. The basis of successful improvements in quality is the inclusion of all staff into improvement processes. That is, all staff are encouraged to demonstrate initiative and to suggest areas where improvement can be made. All right, guys, thanks again for listening, and see you next lesson.